back to another video, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Mercedes AMG G63. Now this is a car that I've wanted to review for some time now, and it's actually the first time that I've got behind the wheel of this absolute monster. But this car has now been out since, this model of car has been out since 2018, when they did a full kind of facelift and full remodel of the original G63, which was a car that was, you know, loved by some as an icon, but as a car to get out and drive, use every day. It really divided opinion. So today I want to find out what this car is like to drive, and ultimately try and get under the skin of what this car is, because what it is £150,000 high performance luxury SUV slash military vehicles slash Knightsbridge, Cheshire wafting mobile. So I really want to give this a proper drive, run through the different modes, the different dynamics of the car, and really get an understanding of what this is, because I think it divides opinion. I know the original G63 was a bit of a tractor to drive, a bit of a tank. No one had anything great to say about the driving dynamics of the car. I think ultimately a very iconic car, very cool, but I really want to get a feel for it. So the first thing that hits you with this car is the presence of the thing. So just literally walking up to this car is in itself, it's an event. It's so high off the ground. I'm 6'2", and I have to literally yank myself up and step into this car. It's a hugely tall car. But I think what really kind of shocked me initially was, as big as this car feels, it's not a huge car inside. It's a very airy car in the sense that it's very tall. But as far as the rear seats, yeah, there's ample legroom for an adult in there, but it's not, you know, it would nowhere near rival, say, a long wheelbase or even kind of regular Range Rover. So that's the first thing that hits you, is space-wise, there's not as much of it as you would think. The cabin does feel really nice and airy. Takes a bit of getting used to this kind of square feeling and ultimately the completely upright window here. It's a very, very odd place to be, but once you get used to that, it's a very, very pleasurable place to be. Feel very high, feel very safe, very comfortable, and these seats and the driving position is all incredible. Stepping in here compared to the old G-Wagon, again, the quality in here of the fittings, you know, it's up there with, you know, the top level Mercs out there, the other AMG range, the S-Class. This is ultimately like an S-Class on steroids. It's, you know, the features, the quality of the materials, the way it's put together, very, very typical kind of top line Mercedes-Benz, especially from AMG. I love some of the features. I love how they've not lost what this car was originally about. Obviously a highly, highly iconic car, the G-Wagon, ultimately was a military vehicle. So I love how they've kept you know, a lot of the same features. They've not messed around with the shape and styling of the car. They've kept that kind of almost gunshot noise when you lock the car, and that kind of click clack, I don't know what noise to call it, when you ultimately shut the doors, which is incredible. I really like that they've kept those little iconic pieces. They've also kept the twin exhaust down by the rear passenger door. Absolutely love that. And they've obviously kept the amazing V8 burble. That is now coming from a 4 litre instead of a 5.5 litre engine, but it's one hell of an impressive power plant, and I don't think for a second you feel like you're missing out on that extra kind of cubic capacity there. So getting in the car is an absolute event. You know, you get in, you feel safe, and you can quite happily cruise around, you know, cruise around town, go shopping. You know, it's a big car, but because of the size of the windows in here, you can literally pinpoint the edges of the car. So although it's a very, very big car, you know, with the visibility in here coupled with a very, very good parking system, you know, you've got 360 cameras, you've got parking assist, so you've even got a function that will park itself. So with all these features, it really makes it quite a manageable car around town, and it doesn't feel, you know, as big as you would imagine once you've started driving the car. Moving through the dynamic settings here, you know, from comfort mode, it moves directly into sport. You get a little bit more throttle response. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera. You get a bit more throttle response. Everything tightens up a little bit. The steering changes, so the steering becomes a little bit heavier. Move it down into Sport Plus. All of a sudden, the screen lights up red. You know you're in something pretty spicy. All of a sudden then, it's maximum attack mode in this car. The steering firms up, and hopefully you can hear that coming through the exhaust there. Just listen. Wow. The way this thing picks up, this car shouldn't be able to do this. And the brakes in this, ultimately, I mean, let's be honest, the brakes have to be good. When you're flying along at silly speeds in a car that weighs 2.5 tons with this much torque, this much power, you need good brakes. The brakes in this are exceptional. You just push on them and they just give you all the confidence you need. Wow, you shouldn't be able to do that in this, and that is what I love about this car. It's so AMG, it's so old school AMG. It's got an unnecessarily big engine. It's such a huge car that doesn't make much sense in the real world, but I love it, and I know people absolutely love this car. So when you look at this car, you say, is this car worth £150,000? I think it is, because that is a lot of money, but there's not a lot of cars out there that do what this car does, and does it the way that this car does it. This has got a character, and I fully believe that this car sits in the marketplace on its own. So, once again, thank you very much for joining. Your support really does mean the world, and the support so far has really kept me going and kept me pushing on to want to make more and more content. Thank you for joining me on this rainy January day, but I hope you've enjoyed my review and my thoughts on the G63. It's been an absolute blast to drive. Thank you very much to my friend Nick for letting me borrow this. And you know, if you subscribe, thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, the hell are you doing? Click that subscribe button. because ultimately your support will help me continue to make these videos. I've got plenty more planned for 2021. Hopefully some of the restrictions will start to ease up. We'll get that vaccine in place, and let's just keep putting out those positive thoughts, because I know it's a very, very hard time. So thank you for joining. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see. Let me know if there's anything you didn't like. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.